Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Rapid Done right here on Rapid Television. Right now it is time for the big conversation. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha Ali. Good morning to you. It's the 9 o'clock conversation right here on Rapid TV. And we've had an amazing morning so far, or should I speak for myself? I've had a good morning so far. And at 9 o'clock we go again. And today we're talking about standards.
Definitely. Today we're talking about beauty standards, confidence, and of course awareness, how society defines beauty and how those definitions affect our self-esteem and why true beauty goes beyond appearance. In a world shaped by social media, filters, and constant comparison, many people feel pressured to look a certain kind of way, often at the cost of their mental and emotional health. Now, the big question is, who sets these standards, and how do we redefine beauty in a healthier, more inclusive way? And to guide this conversation, we're joined by Uche Umana, a beauty industry standards consultant and the founder of Salon Business Africa. Good morning and welcome to the big conversation.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, guys.
Good to have you join us.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now let's begin with the first question here. Now, we'll talk about beauty standards. Who really sets these standards?
It's I think looking at beauty standards, it's amazing how it has evolved over time. And when I talk about the evolution, if we go way back from where beauty, the idea of beauty started, we're talking about ancient Egypt. You're looking at 3000 BC and all the way, you know, going through up to our modern day, where we've looked at it. Back then it was set by society, culture, but in the past 10 years, beauty standards, unfortunately, has been set more by social media and platforms. And when we're talking about platforms, we're looking at platforms like the TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat. And funny, now the filters are also setting standard for beauty. For beauty, so it's gone through being more functional to now being more aesthetic.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. You know, now that you've talked about how it's now less of standards or more standards and aesthetics, in fact, a lot of people say that what we see now is effect of the colonial era, and some people have likened this obsession to wanting to look in a certain way, your nose, you know, a certain way, the hip a certain way, can be dated back to the colonial era and the influence that they had on us at the time. What would you say about that?
Well, I'll beg to differ there because, well, I've been around for some time, so I can say the standards we had 25 years ago is totally different from what we had here. And let's look at the basic one that seems to be the rave, which is the hip and the butt. 30 years ago, it wasn't a thing. The facial structure wasn't really a thing, and beauty standards 25 years ago was considered more, they had a particular body type that was considered beautiful. And for those who would, who I think, like I would say, had been around for a while, the curvaceous woman became more of a beauty symbol, probably not too far away. Probably we're dating back to Shakira, Beyonce, and that's, like I said, 25 years ago. So I wouldn't say it's colonial.
But you just mentioned Shakira, Beyonce. These are people from the Western world. And if we would dig back the whole hip enlargement and enhancement thing going on right now, I would say, from my perspective, you know, looking at it, I would say it all began with one Kim Kardashian just letting the whole world know that I can enhance my body, I can do this, and then Nigeria just caught that wave and has become something that, I mean, a lot of people are obsessing about right now. So see your examples, see the case study. Don't you think this is also Western influence?
Well, if you're talking about location, maybe, but if you're talking about the person, remember Beyonce is black.
But I mean,
In the Western
the
world.
Western world.
Yeah, but like I said, the idea, okay, so the hip and the curve is more of our thing. It is not really the Western thing. That's why I am trying to remove the location from the identity or of the person or the people. We are now moving the ideology of beauty, and lately, it's now moving more to the Asian ideology.
Yeah.
So you see that it is not really colonial. It is, for now, it is more of the influence, like I said, of media. Okay. So it is the culture or the tribe that has a large influence on these platforms right now that is defining what beauty should be, unfortunately. Yeah.
Now we've talked about, you know, who set the standards, you know, how it's emanated and all of that. But what are these standards even when we talk about beauty standards?
Okay, if I'm going to talk about standards, I think I'll be more functional about it, right?
Okay.
When you're talking about standards, first of all, we're looking at the holistic care of a person. So when I'm talking about beauty standards, what it should be is, how does it make me confident? How does it make me take care of myself? How does it affect my general wellness and whole being? So beauty standards should be, first of all, anything that would boost your confidence as a man or a woman. Secondly, anything that would help enhance your total wellness or provide the platform for you to get total wellness. But what we have had over time now with regards to standard is more of aesthetics. And unfortunately, it has also been so proliferated that even the platforms, the beauty clinics, the beauty platforms, even unfortunately, the influencers and also the those who we expect to get right information from are now pushing the aesthetics as against what it should be. Like I said, I'll still go back. Years ago, beauty was all about who are you and how do you enhance who you are. But now it is, who is the media portraying, or what is the media portraying as beauty, and how do I become that?
So that to an extent makes people lose their sense of identity?
Not to an extent.
To a large extent.
Yes, to a large extent, yes.
And usually this modern beauty trends, it's supposed to build confidence. Is it supposed to build confidence or a new kind of pressure? Because I personally see it as a new kind of pressure where people don't even want to weigh the pros and the cons of this thing. In fact, people are now so desperate. Like you said, we are moving from whatever it is right now to the Asian beauty standards, and that's why you see products like Monjero. You see products like these products that people weight loss injections now are now becoming a thing where people no longer weigh the consequence of these things or the side effects of these things and they go ahead to do it. Don't you think that this is creating a new kind of pressure for young people?
Not just pressure. I totally agree with your point of view, right? It's not just the pressure, but a lot of people are also overlooking the long-term side effects. Absolutely. And some of them are even short-term. We are also in a generation where people are not looking at the consequences. Everybody's looking at quick fix. Well, with regards to weight loss products, that one, be as it may, it's still, has its back and forth. Yeah. But the ones I have a problem with, which is what I see mostly because I'm an assessor, right? The one I see most is where we have unqualified, uncertified beauty therapists giving injectables, carrying out services that is causing them to break the surface of the skin. We're talking about the epidermis. Some of them are going as far as the dermis. Some of them are going through your veins, things they are not, trained to do. And the fact that despite the, the backlash some of those services get, people still don't care. So the major concern and worry is the fact that the pressure, I guess, is just so bad now that people are willing to do anything and not think about the consequences at this point. And that's unfortunate as it sounds, is the new reality now.
And that actually affects our society, because we've seen various scenarios where young people are losing their lives right now, due to some of these surgeries that we see them carry out and all of that. And that begs for a question that comes to mind for us. I mean, at what point did you really think that the body shapes,
to look a certain kind of way
is the in thing? That's what makes you whatever you have in mind to be.
I will still go back to saying it's the platform a lot of people have access to. When I was growing up, we had less screen time and more one-on-one time, which is beginning to phase off. So when you have a child, a boy, a girl, who all their life has been before or behind a screen, and all they know, they can literally give you the life history of a celebrity or some influencer. So it means that is the person they are modeling after. They rarely see you who looks like them. True. They rarely see you, but they only see these people who look a certain way. So this has now informed their idea of what beauty should be. So you see that it's a very narrow road to navigate without touching the core of the plague of giving people access to these platforms at a certain age, and also as adults, us also knowing how to control our screen time and to interact with the real world, to know that yes, what we see online, most of the time, is not even true.
Okay. I believe that both the government and the family have like a very key role to play in things like this. And by that I mean the regulation of some of these platforms. Because you have made mention of the fact that one of the key agents of influence for these young people in this generation is what they are exposed to, both on social media, their phones, Google. You can literally Google anything. In fact, you can Google how to do a surgery right now, and you're going to get a
You've upgraded it to Snapchat.
Exactly, ChatGPT, and so you literally get it. So, but how do you think that this can be controlled? Because I think that we are headed for a pandemic, because everyone is crazy about looking a certain kind of way, while we have our bodies. We get to decide what we will do with our bodies. We also need to understand that we operate under a certain law, because you have pointed out a few things. People who are not licensed and qualified to carry out the surgeries carry out the surgery. People who are not fully aware of the implication of these surgeries also go ahead and allow themselves for these surgeries to be performed on them. So what regulations do you think can be implemented in the family circle, the government circle, to curtail this before it gets out of hand? I think it has gotten out of hand.
Yeah, I think it has as well.
Okay. Yes, please.
No, go on.
Okay, so let's start with the family unit, which is where the micro control starts from, right? I will be lying as a parent if I say you need to control, their use of devices, because unfortunately, it has become like a cheat code for parents as well. You are overwhelmed. We don't do 9 to 5 anymore. We do 6 to 6. We do dusk till dawn. So for a lot of people, a lot of parents, it helps them, get that, distract the children long enough to focus on work or, to get through the day. But everything in moderation is where it starts from.
Absolutely.
I always tell some parents, when we have conversations, encourage your children after school activity, because growing up, I keep saying it, we used to have the time when, after school we'll play, we'll interact for a while before you go home, or your parents, come to pick you up. But now everything seems to be automatic. It's the class, they leave the class, they're on break, they're on their tablets. Even what passes as recreation now in most schools do not have the space for recreation. Exactly. So what passes for recreation still takes them back to technology. So we need to start consciously creating me time, we time. Basic things like Sunday after church, rather than moving from church back home, take these children out, take them to, it can be a playground. They need to start seeing more real people. I think that's, without overflogging, the parents, let's start from there. Let's start creating time to get your children to be in touch with reality. That's on the side of the parents, so we can try to reduce our screen time. Now, for the young adults who are always on their devices, which is now the main pandemic, because they're already in it. We also have to consciously, like you see social gatherings, something I know I do sometimes, but I have to consciously stop. You see at social gatherings, we all come together and everybody's on their phone.
Absolutely.
We're all on our phones until we get to a point where we go home and we have pictures but no interaction. So we have to become more conscious and more aware. And like I said, the more you get off your devices, you can actually see real people. So it starts to reset the mind. Then for the government, fortunately, we were able to create the first sector skill council for beauty, wellness and care in Nigeria. We initiated that last year and we're able to get a beauty council. So now that we have a council, we're now going to push for regulation. So that's the first step, right? We have the council. Now that the council is functional, the next step is to start implementing. So, and more conversations around beauty, like I tell people, shouldn't be superficial, because most of the time when people talk about beauty, we only talk about the aesthetics of it. Let's start talking about the damage. Let's start talking about what's happening. And the more we do that, I think also government will pay attention to the fact that it's not just superficial, that your daughter may be at risk of skin cancer just because someone online has been selling lightening, whitening products to her. That your children are at risk of cancer, your wife, your daughters, your mom, they are at risk. Then they now know that this is a serious conversation.
You know, when you say daughters, mothers, you are limiting it to just females now.
Thank you very much.
The truth is, I have seen more men on social media start adopting the whole skincare thing these days.
So you see?
Like, they do it too. So they also become prone to these kinds of things. Cancer, skin cancer, infections, and all of that. They also. Men have started to do cosmetic surgeries too.
Absolutely.
They have started. So
I stand corrected.
I think
very much.
I think it affects like literally everyone.
Yes.
And of course, also I think you've already started answering the next question that I had in mind, because the question begs on the fact that at what point does looking good become unhealthy?
I think there's an addiction to it.
You understand?
That's so looking good. Now, this is me coming out and saying, okay, I'm going to be on TV, let me touch up. Now, the question is, how long will I continue with this? Right? So that's, I would say addictive being relative. Can I go out without this on a good day? Will I be able to have a TV interview without this, without the aesthetics? And if yes, what has wired my mind to this point where I have this level of confidence to show up with or without makeup and still show up? So if you're asking at what point it becomes unhealthy, is when it becomes your identity. If any of this aesthetics becomes your identity, there are people who can't leave the house without certain touch-ups. If it gets to that point where you can't, then it's beginning to become unhealthy. Because we assume we're trying to fix a problem, so we don't even know that we're obsessing, or we've become, we're having, what's it called? We're now becoming insecure. We just, look for a way to make it look like, oh, it's just the aesthetics. I need to put on makeup before I leave home.
I tell you what, you are just one part of the equation. The society is another part of the equation. Because certain professions require certain aesthetics.
Good.
Now, I'm telling you that the problem is much more than just the individual deciding that they want to do that.
Absolutely.
The people who look at the individual also have a problem. Because imagine a person who sits in front of TV without the makeup, right? Most people will tune out of that station because of how that person looks.
Absolutely right.
So I think it's much more than the individual deciding that that's what they want to do. The people also around the individual. I know this talks about you need to be confident in yourself. What about when the institution, we have institutionalized beauty standards.
Good.
We have made it something that must be done. And when it is not done, it looks odd and it looks awkward.
Absolutely.
How do you address that? Because it's no longer an act. It's now mindset thing.
Responsibility.
It's now a responsibility. How do you address that? Because I feel like some of these beauty standards we now give ourselves, it's pressure from our environment in response to the pressure that we experience within our environment. So how do you address that?
Okay, so when I made the last statement, you know, I said within or without. So if your job demands of it, which, like I said, this situation demands of this, right? You can go ahead with this.
Why does it demand of it? Why can't you could be on TV and be accepted like that?
But like, so, you know, we talked about that's why we started with the evolution.
Okay.
It's like saying we should have stayed on black and white. Now remember, the beauty aesthetics is not wrong.
Okay.
I'm going to correct, it is not wrong. It is meant to enhance. That was what I started with. It's meant to enhance, not to totally make you insecure. So you being here, because this is a business, it makes sense. But are you going to be like this when you get home? When you're going to hang out? So, but you say no, but there are lots of people, they can't leave their houses without this. So that's where I'm talking about when it starts getting dangerous. So yes, some environments, some jobs, some jobs require the aesthetics, and I always say the aesthetics is not wrong. It is the abuse that makes it wrong, and that is when we start modifications and alterations that are permanent. I will give an example why I have never gone for any permanent beauty look or aesthetics. Let's say, okay, let me say probably sometime in 2000, 2001, right? 2000, 2001, that's like 20-something years ago, right? There was this beauty trend that came up where you had to laser off your eyebrows and tattoo, tattoo a particular shape of eyebrow. Now then, the eyebrow shape that seemed to be quite popular then was like the rainbow. And now, you know, the thing about that is aesthetically, it has some face types that it looks good on. So you had a lot of people back then who were always looking surprised because the brows were already exactly. So you see someone saying, "I'm really angry," and you're like, "Oh, really?" Like that. So that for me, right? Understanding that beauty evolves is another thing this generation should be conscious of. And like I said, there was a time when you had big butt, it used to be equated to someone being dirty, someone being disgusting. They used to use that to abuse people back then.
They'd call the person a wayward person at the time.
Exactly.
But now.
So that's why I said, when we realize that these are trends that evolve, we would know to go around them with caution.
Absolutely.
And to avoid anything that is permanent, because it will eventually evolve.
Well, you know, we've dwelt so much on the mindset right now, and the truth is, as much as possible, people are already, they've already built that mindset, and to an extent, it might be difficult to take away that mindset. Now, as a professional, what are some practical steps that, you know, people who have already built a mindset and looking at a certain kind of way, what can they do, you know, to take themselves away from that insecurity and just enjoy looking good naturally?
So I think the first thing that will bust a lot of people's bubbles would be to start looking up some of your faves. I know sometimes people are able to catch some candid moments with them. You would see that 80% of what you see is aesthetics. These people just package themselves and look a certain way because that's what you want to see, which you had already mentioned. Because when they show up the way they actually are, you have something to say about them. So when you first of all, you know, understand and have the reality check of, wait a minute, this person or this people that I am modeling after are not even what I think they are. And we keep saying, believe social media at your detriment. But that seems to go in from one ear and leave through the next.
Exactly.
So for someone who is at that point of what should I do next, I think you should go on a social media fast.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that even possible in this time and era?
No, but so it's like I said, for someone who, but you do that. Now, there was a time I was really addicted to always being on phone. And I realized that it was not only eating into my productivity and my work time, but it also started affecting. And this is somebody who is coming from a generation where I've seen these things happen. And at a point, it also got to me. So nobody's exempted. Absolutely. Nobody's exempted. But we have to consciously start doing some things for ourselves. Now, your fast may not be a whole week. Start with 1 hour, 2 hours. Start whatever your times are now, cut it off. And when you cut it off, don't be idle. Try and replace it with something that puts you in, you know, in the face of reality. Do a reality check. Do I need to go more to the market? I need to go to places where I'll see more people. So I become more grounded. I think that's where it starts from. Then gradually, you now become less bothered by what you see on social media. I mean, how is it that these are influencers and celebrities look so perfect? The moment they have a breakdown, the person you're seeing is totally different. When they're coming to cry or to talk, it's like how?
no relationship between.
Exactly. So it shows that we unfortunately we have to train our minds to filter. So I think that's where I would leave it at. We just train our minds to filter. Yes.
Okay, that's super important. And this conversation of beauty and beauty standards go beyond just the physical appearance as well. There's an inner work to do, which is where we would go to the confidence part of the conversation, because regardless of what every other person thinks, there are people who have such a healthy self-esteem that regardless of what they say, I know this is how I look, I know this is who I am, I know this is what I can be, and so what you say has little to no effect on me as an individual. How do you go past the point where you really care about those things to where you don't care? Because these celebrities we talk about, they're human beings.
Of course.
And we're encouraging them, okay, sometimes try to show the reality of who you are on camera, just so people know that you are a real person. You're not a robot, you're not AI, or you're not any one of those things. And then we who encourage them to do that are also the people who come out to castigate them when they come out. Oh, she's not even beautiful. She looks this way. You see, so it's such an enormous pressure on these people, because if I do this, then there's complaints. If I do that, then there's complaints. There needs to be like a healthy balance of your confidence and your esteem to be able to juggle around these two. So how do you advise that such a person can move on?
First off, you see, social media is not for the faint-hearted.
Absolutely.
It's not for the weak. I believe honestly that this year more people should attend more personal development programs. More people should attend more self-awareness programs. And the reason I'm saying that is, no matter what you say, you see the thing about when your mind is on a certain thing, you believe the other things are not possible. And the moment you have created that mind frame of it is not possible, no information you share would, penetrate that wall. So first off is, as an individual, this year, tell yourself, even if it is 2 or 3 personal development programs that I need to attend, let me have that, in my bank. Yes, because all of this starts from, before you talk about confidence, is because your mind has shifted from where it is to saying, wait a minute, this is not who I am, this is who I can be. We are talking about the pressure. Funny, it's not even just on this end, it's also on the influencers and what do you call them, the influencers and also the celebrities. Recently, people have been dragging Alex Ikubo for not being online. Like, I saw that and I'm like, how can this be a problem? There was a time it was Genevieve. So they know when it's unhealthy to leave. And they also know when to block, the noise around them. And I also want to say this to anybody: it's okay to turn off your comment session. It's okay to turn off your comment session. For those of you whose jobs or maybe a means of livelihood depends on you being out there, trust me, I know what it feels like, because it happens to me every now and again. sometimes you may need to turn off the comment if you think you are not mentally ready to take it.
Right.
So it all starts with you.
Okay. All right, all begins with you, and that's the words of our beauty standards consultant, Uche Umana. We're also talking about beauty standard and, of course, awareness, but we'll continue this conversation after this break. To stay with us. Glad to be back on Rapid On this morning. You're still watching the Big Conversation, and we've been talking about beauty standard and awareness, and our guest has been Uche Umana, a beauty industry standard consultant. Moving on now with the conversation, ma'am. Let's talk about some of the myths that has to do with beauty and awareness. What is one of the myths, that you've actually heard, that is not correct when you talk about beauty standard and all?
Wow. I think the most popular would be the myths around the hair and growth. So first off is not every hair loss or hair breakage can be fixed with product application.
Okay.
Because that seems to be the major thing you find in the market.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be selling a miracle product or a magic product that can, can fix your problems. So right off my head right now, when you start experiencing a level of hair loss, breakage or damage, most of the times it can be a sign, because that's how the body speaks to you.
Right.
It's a sign that something may be going wrong inside and needs attention. And one of the things you would expect most beauty practitioners to know, stylists, is to also understand that when you start seeing signs, whether male or female, you may need to refer them to see a doctor or a health practitioner rather than trying to squeeze some coin off them. And same thing with skin problems as well. Not every acne, every breakout needs topical application. Most of them are signs that there might be an internal problem that needs to be fixed.
Okay.
So I think top of my head, those are the two that I can remember, but yeah, you can bring on others if you have.
Okay.
So no need for me to be in a hurry, because I've been getting some yaps about this here.
Now, this is totally normal because it has to come.
It's normal,
absolutely.
right?
Yes, this is a receding front line.
Yes.
So either you inherit, it's genetic. So either you inherit it from your dad or your mom.
Yeah.
Now, because women rarely go totally bald, we never show. But if you check your uncle or your aunt, if your dad has a full head of hair, so it either has to come from one of your parents, so it's genetic.
So it's natural.
Natural.
This is beautiful.
I know.
Take it away.
Anyways, let's talk about vitamins, because this also it's another. In fact, I think some of these things depend on regulation, regulation of the market, what gets into the market and what people consume.
True.
However, we have seen a trend of people buying these vitamins without prescriptions, people who have no knowledge of the medical field selling stuff like collagen, zinc for acne, all sorts of vitamins for the skin and what have you. Do you know about any side effects to these that you need to educate the viewers, and what you think about these vitamins in general?
Okay, so
and supplements too.
Good. So first of, I am not a health practitioner, but to the best of my knowledge, I would talk about supplements and beauty.
Absolutely.
Then maybe when you now get a professional in that field, they will expatiate.
I mean, it's in relation to beauty.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first off, do we need vitamins? Yes, that's number one. Can we get vitamins from food? 100%. Are some vitamins necessary? Yes, but at a certain age.
Okay.
Most of the vitamins that are being sold are vitamins that your body should produce naturally when you're at a certain age. So you see those going for collagen. They are talking about your skin elasticity. If you're, well, depending on also genes as well, because there are some people who are in their 50s, their skin is still very firm. So before you go into vitamins, really you need to, you know, consult a nutritionist.
Okay.
That's even who determines, because they need to check what is deficient, first of all. Then when you get to a certain age, there are some things that become mandatory because your body can't produce them again, so you need to assist the body. But for those younger people who are taking vitamins, most of the vitamins you need are gotten from your food. 99% of them. Maybe other than that, the one collagen. Do you know, I was how do you say it? I was yesterday old.
Yeah.
Yes, right. When I was informed that collagen, you can get pure collagen from meat or chicken broth. So go to the market, go and buy those bones, cook them very well. You know, when you keep the broth, it starts to harden, it starts to, will I say coagulate? That is pure collagen. So I think it's first of all the misinformation. Secondly, our, would I say, ignorance of the fact that nutrition is mandatory. There are people we need to see. You know, mentally in Nigeria, let me speak for Nigeria, I don't know about other African countries. Mentally in Nigeria, when it comes to medical advice, we limit it to doctors.
Right.
But there are other people, nutritionists, that you must speak with, dermatologists, trichologists, for different issues. So until we become aware that we need more of these people so they can guide us on what to use,
Right.
then the regulation part becomes a challenge. Because right now it's a free-for-all market, and it's not just with the products. Unfortunately, it's with everything in Nigeria. We have a regulation problem.
Let's talk about some of the standards again now. Moving forward, what are some of the standards that needs to be discarded, and what are some that we also need to adopt as a nation, so people also have interest in looking beautiful?
Okay. So first thing I would say is the standards we need to adopt. While we get our standards from abroad, let's also build in our culture to our standards. It will be difficult, or I will be sounding quite theoretical if I say, oh, we need to cut this off. But I think the first thing we need to do as a people is to start learning more about beauty. Anything you want to do. Do not limit that information to social media only. Do not limit it to influencers said. Do not limit it to Google. Look for search. Let's learn to search articles. I want to do BBL. If you're at peace with it, fine. Look for articles
that explains what the process is like.
That is it. Look for articles. And it's not YouTube videos. It's not Google. You have to look for articles. Look for doctors. Look for people who can give you the right information. So we're not saying stop them. We're saying since the system is a bit weak at regulating, because this should have been the government's duty through the sector skills. But since we don't have that, help yourself. Go beyond what ChatGPT is saying, or DeepSeek, or Google. Look for articles. Find out who are the doctors that have spoken about this procedure. What is safe and what is not. I think that's where we should start from. Then standards that we should discard totally. You see, I know people in my industry will come for me, but you see this prescribing without prescribing without proper consultation or information. I think that's the first thing that needs to be discarded. And it also ties with the first one. If you're experiencing something, please look it up through articles, not Google. Look it up through articles.
Google, funny enough, will complicate whatever is happening in your head. Because you would Google the simplest of symptoms and Google tells you.
You're about
in
to
fact,
die.
Google can tell you have cancer.
Exactly.
Exactly. So articles are a lot more verified because these articles go through a process before they're being published.
Exactly.
And so you most likely will get verified information there. So yes.
So the SCAD, you see that going to meet the wrongest people. If you have something you don't understand, go and meet a doctor. I think, and I think another thing we need to discard is this mindset of medical bills are expensive, because that has also made us seek the wrong people for advice.
Right. And self-medicate.
And self-medication, yes. So the moment you experience something or you notice something that is not normal, please get proper, this year, get proper medical checkup. Because a lot of the death we've been seeing lately, some of them are actually avoidable.
Very true.
Avoidable.
So
Yeah.
pay attention to your health.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about redefinition now. If you are to redefine beauty, maybe in one sentence, how would you redefine it?
I think I need to think that deep. I would say if I were to redefine beauty, I would say it would be wellness care at your terms.
Okay.
At your terms.
At your terms.
Okay. Okay, let's pick wellness. Let's highlight wellness a bit, because you made mention of the fact that some of these things that you take, the vitamins, the collagen and all of that, your skin already produces it, right? But what are some of the healthy options that people can opt for, rather than, you know, opting for these whole vitamin things? Because we have health tips here every day, where we talk about some of the tips, some of the food. In fact, at this point, I can prescribe food for people to eat. But we've heard time and again by estheticians, beauticians, talking about the need to have a healthy diet, as it also completes to having a healthy skin. Talk to us about that.
First thing, I'll say go to the gym. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Before I turned 40, that was years ago, before I turned 40, I had the most unhealthy skin. Almost every part of my body ached. I literally was going in and out of the hospital. And I would tell you that in the past 5-6 years, I have been the healthiest. I have been the fittest I can remember in over 20 years. And the meal, like they will always tell you, is where we get it right. First off, we need to debunk a lot of myths around our food. Our food is healthy. You see, the calorie counting, the calorie burning, a lot of things, you know, account for that. First off, your stress hormone, a lot of things, especially with the gender and the sex. So let's face the ones we can handle. And if you're not going to the gym, get active lifestyle. You see the skin, that's the first thing it fixes. So aesthetically, your skin is the first thing that glows when you start eating right and working out right. And eating right is just reducing all those processed food. This is our gari. It's healthy. It's healthy. It's just like they will tell you, it's your portions that you walk through. And for every other thing around health and wellness, like I said, is on your terms, but your terms must come with right education.
Absolutely.
I think let me add that as well.
Surely.
All right.
All right. So I think I'm going to conclude by talking to someone out there whose name is Martha. Hit the gym.
No, he didn't.
I mean, I did that too anyway. Thank you so much, Uche Umana, for being here with us. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I mean, you're still trying to recover. But let's get your concluding thought. No shades back, but your concluding thought.
Well, no shades, that's not a shade, because it's actually an intention.
Good.
You know, you just need to work around the timing to ensure that it is fit. But the most important thing is, I would say that I personally also have been guilty of the kind of things that I eat.
Right.
And it's not about not eating too much. It's about eating the right things. Even if you eat too much and you eat the right thing. I mean, if you have a lot of fruit and you eat a lot of fruit, nobody ever, I don't think anybody ever died from that. But it's super important. Like our guest has said, knowledge is power, and if you have the right knowledge, you can make the right choices.
That's
So
right.
when it comes to your skin, when it comes to your beauty and wellness, what you eat is an integral part of how that turns out for you. Now, I also want to talk about these beauty standards, because I have seen people crash out a lot of times because of the pressure they put on themselves because of certain beauty standards. Now, our guest trying to be careful says, you know, if BBL is what you want to do, do you, but you must know the implication of that to your body. I have not intended to do that. I haven't considered doing that, right? But I have been able to get a lot of knowledge on what it is like, what the healing process is like, what it takes away from you. And I feel like when more people do the work to sit and actually access these surgeries and options that are made available for you, you would not fall under unnecessary pressure. That's the truth. Because you don't read, because you don't research on these things, you fall under pressure. You know, there are certain things that when you hear as an individual, you just say, God forbid. That's what knowledge does to you.
Exactly.
When you have knowledge about certain things, you automatically know that they're not things that you would ever opt for. And I mean, that's a call to everyone out there, not just about beauty, about every single thing. Try to get the requisite knowledge just so that you don't act out of ignorance. I think that's the best thing to do.
True, very true. And I think it's important that we also say this, knowledge actually shields you from making certain wrong decisions. You know, by the time you're knowledgeable, you're safer out there. And please be confident of yourself. I mean, build that confidence from the inside so you can as well exude that confidence from the outside.
That's the skincare tip out there. I'm not even joking.
I'm telling you. But that being said, this is all you're going to be taking on to this edition of Rapid Done. Do remember that you can follow us on all our social media pages across our platform at Rapid TV, and you can get to rewatch all our episodes, including today's episode, on our YouTube platform, which is at Official Rapid TV. And wherever you are in the world, you can always watch us live using our website, www.arabianradiotv.com. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha Allo. Been a long time I said you could call me Martha. So yes, there you have it.
We'll see you tomorrow.